This is Barnstable Today for Tuesday, March 10th. Welcome aboard. I'm Mark Mumford, and please keep in mind that the meetings we cover are available on demand at the town's website, town.barnstable.ma.us.
Conservation restrictions, often a hot topic, generate lively discussion at the meeting of land acquisition and preservation. That's our top story. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Friel.
A workshop with the town council in regard to conservation restrictions is being planned.
At yesterday afternoon's land acquisition meeting, town councilor Ann Kennedy said there are a variety of concerns among her fellow councilors in regard to conservation restrictions.
Sort or the other about CRs. And I think it's probably a good thing to talk to them, see what those reservations are, and see if there is an argument about to counter it, because maybe there isn't. But we need, before we have landowners go through the process of trying to get a CR and then have it shot down by the council, I think that's counterproductive for everybody. You know,
the cost was something, Steve, that that was one of the questions that was asked at this workshop. And yes, you get it back in your relief, but the upfront costs of looking into going for a conservation restriction can be thousands of dollars.
And you have to have your whole property surveyed. Legal fees.
I think they mentioned somewhere between $6,000 and $12,000 possibly for legal assistance with getting a conservation restriction. So.
Yeah, so that's a lot of money to put out if you're not going to get it through.
And on top of that, when you get your property appraised, you do have to have specialty appraisers come in and do that. You really can't get a mortgage appraiser to come in and appraise your land for that. So it's complicated.
And another thing that the council should be aware of is, especially with larger parcels, if you're leveraging conservation restrictions, somebody like the state might be requiring other properties in that area to be, have a blanket restriction. That happened with Crow's Pasture and Dennis. They required Dennis and Brewster to put several hundred acres under conservation restrictions. So it can work, disadvantageous if the council isn't going to go for things like that.
Another area where conservation is always a hot topic is Sandy Neck, where the gatehouse will be opening for the season on April 1st.
At yesterday's Sandy Neck board meeting, Sandy Neck Director Nina Coleman outlined for the members plans for a new and much improved Sandy Neck Internet website.
There aren't any huge changes there. And lastly, I want to give an update on the web page that we've been discussing. And I'll just briefly go over, I have an outline here. And I'll go over just really briefly and just as an opportunity for you guys to maybe brainstorm later, or to email me about any other ideas that you might have. Basically what I've been concentrating on is getting the backbone of the important information available to the public. And then the happy, good feeling stuff we can always add on later. But we got to get that real basic, somebody who's looking for information wants to get on our website, be able to get to it really quickly. So basically, we have our own domain name. As I mentioned before, it's SameNeckBeachPark.com. Same Neck Beach was taken, so Same Neck Beach Park is our true name, so we're going to go with that. If you go onto the town website, if you wanted to get to the Sandy Neck page, you would still get there. When you go to click on Sandy Neck, it would take you to Sandy Neck Beach Park. So you can get to it two ways. This is similar to the senior center, just doing their own domain name. So you open up the page, there's going to be a slideshow going of all these beautiful pictures of the neck, clover, a lighthouse, marsh, all the things that we have to offer. Some text about Sandy Neck, an overview. And then starting at Contact Us would be on the left. So you have all these options of different areas that you could go into on the web page. Contact Us, directions, hours, events, maps. And then I'll take you down to ORV Beach, which is where most people are going to go. So you would click on ORV Beach. There's going to be, again, some text. The questions I know people ask is going to be up there. The picture of the ORV Beach. And under that will be links to all these things: 2009 fees, how to obtain a permanent beach status, equipment regulations, policies, heights, etc. So what it does is, instead of it all just sort of be globular, on one page as it is right now, it's going to be, hopefully, in concept, a more user-friendly way of getting through there.
Sandy Neck Director Nina Coleman is asking for public input in regard to the content that will be featured on their new internet website.
She asked for emailed suggestions, and she is also looking for Sandy Neck photos that folks might be willing to share to help illuminate some of the info on the site.
Meanwhile, the Sandy Neck Board had an intriguing request on their agenda yesterday.
Ian Ives, the overseer at the Mass Audubon Society Center at Long Pasture, is interested in the possibility of harvesting some spadefoot toad eggs from Sandy Neck.
For the last 3 years that there's spadefoots have been documented at Sandy Neck. So we thought possibly that we could utilize the population someday on Sandy Neck to, again, support our little population at Ashumet and perhaps increase the strength of that population so that they could be a strong breeding population again.
So in other
That was
words,
the idea.
we could dig up our...
Well, this is where it gets tricky. Yeah. This is the tricky part, and this is where we have talked to Brad and some others. The idea was that if we could get permission from you and from Heritage to go and look for breeding sites on Sandy Neck, or even out in the Outer Cape in the province land where Brad Tim has been doing his research. If we could find breeding pools and we could be so lucky as to find the eggs that these guys produce, because they produce thousands per clutch or per season, so they'll potentially go out in a breeding pool and release 5,000 eggs per toad. One female toad can release that many. We would take them, collect them, bring them to Franklin Park Zoo, which would be a partner in this whole effort, and they would head start them, meaning that they would rear them in the zoo, so to the point where they become little metamorphs or tiny froglets. They'll actually get them from tadpole to froglet, and then we would take them, and the idea would be that we would take most of them and put them back into the population we took them from to help support that, and then take others and add them to the Ashumet property. But this is the kind of thing that is much easier said than done. I haven't done it. I've never even seen it.
Has it been done?
It has been done before, but not in Massachusetts, apparently. So the idea would be that you need to have a lot of luck and great weather, a really wet season where these guys would actually be breeding, because they can go a full season without ever even breeding if it's not wet enough. They need to have lots of water to create like a deluge in a little pool, and then like a vernal pool, and then they'll breed in the pool, so on. But there's no guarantee that would happen. So the idea is that if you could find enough eggs to head start them, you could help supplement the population at Sandy Neck, and then you could add some to support this tiny population at Ashumet. And the advantage of doing it that way is that, first of all, these guys produce, the female toads produce such huge numbers of eggs. Only maybe 5 to 10 of the 5,000 that a female actually lays at one time will make to be a frog itself, an adult breeding frog. So it's not as though we would be jeopardizing the population in any way, shape, or form. I've been convinced of this, and Brian, who's talked to Heritage and knows several people there pretty well that are in the know along these lines, are convinced that it wouldn't jeopardize. In fact, it might actually help, because you'd be taking head starting and helping to supplement. So that's the idea.
The spadefoot toad egg proposal was approved by the members of the Sandy Neck Board in a unanimous vote.
If you'd like to see the entire spadefoot toad discussion, the Sandy Neck Board meeting is available on demand at the town's website, town.barnstable.ma.us.
Meanwhile, as far as the meeting schedule here in town, nothing left on the calendar for this evening.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm Kevin Friel.
We'll meet you right back here tomorrow. I'm Mark Mumford.